A language silent for 80,000 years finally spoke, and only a human responded. Dr. Maya Chen sat alone in the observation room of the Galactic Archive Station. The night shift was always quiet. Most of her colleagues preferred the day shift when important visitors came through, but Maya loved these peaceful hours. She could focus on her work without interruptions. The archive station floated in deep space, far from any star system. Its purpose was simple but important. The station collected and preserved communication signals from across the galaxy. Every species in the galactic community sent their historical records here. Languages, music, stories, and scientific data all found a home in the vast database. Maya's job was to monitor ancient communication frequencies. Most days, nothing interesting happened. She would catalog old broadcasts, sort through static noise, and file reports. Her supervisor often joked that she had the most boring job in the entire station. Tonight seemed no different. Maya sipped her tea and watched the monitors. Waves of data scrolled across the screens in gentle patterns. Green lines showed normal background radiation. Blue lines indicated known galactic traffic. Red lines would mean something unusual, but Maya rarely saw those. She stretched in her chair and yawned. 3 more hours until her shift ended. Maybe she would treat herself to breakfast at the station cafeteria. The Zentari chef made excellent protein cakes on Thursday mornings. Then something changed. A red line appeared on her primary monitor. Maya sat up straight and put down her tea. Her heart beat faster with excitement. The computer system began analyzing the signal automatically. Numbers and symbols filled a secondary screen. Maya leaned closer. The signal was complex and organized. This was not random noise from a dying star or interference from a solar storm. Someone had created this transmission deliberately. The pattern repeated every 30 seconds with perfect precision. She activated the translation protocol. The archive station had the most advanced language database in the galaxy. It contained information about every known species and their communication methods. If this signal came from any recognized civilization, the computer would identify it within moments. The system processed the data. Maya watched the progress bar move across her screen. 70%, 80%, 90%. The results appeared. Maya read the text 3 times to make sure she understood correctly. Her hands started shaking slightly. Language identified, Velkari. Origin, Velkar Prime. Status, extinct. Civilization end date, 80,000 years ago. Classification, dead language historical reference only. The Velkari. Maya remembered learning about them during her university studies. They had been a peaceful civilization known for their beautiful architecture and complex poetry. Then their star went supernova without warning. The entire species vanished in a single day of fire and destruction. Nothing survived, or so everyone believed. Maya pulled up the historical records. The database showed images of Velkari ruins discovered on nearby worlds. Scientists had studied their writings and art. Linguists had reconstructed parts of their language from stone tablets and old data crystals. But no living Velkari had been seen in 80,000 years. She looked back at the signal. It continued broadcasting with steady determination. The computer had automatically filed it as archaeological noise and prepared to archive it with other historical curiosities. But something bothered Maya. She studied the signal structure more carefully. The pattern contained emotional markers embedded in the frequency modulation. These were not random recordings from an abandoned probe. Someone was putting feeling into these words. Maya ran a deeper analysis. The signal included urgency indicators and distress patterns. Her chest tightened as understanding dawned. This was not a message from the past. This was a call for help from the present. She checked the signal's origin point. The coordinates placed it in a remote region called the void margin. Most species avoided that area because of unstable gravity fields and dangerous radiation pockets. Few ships traveled there anymore. Maya activated her personal translation software. Unlike the archive's automated system, her program used human linguistic methods. She had developed it herself during graduate school. It analyzed not just words, but context, emotion, and cultural meaning. The program worked slowly, building understanding piece by piece. Maya had studied dozens of extinct Earth languages during her training. She knew that ancient words carried more than simple definitions. They held the feelings and values of the people who spoke them. After 20 minutes, her program produced a partial translation. Maya read the words on her screen and felt tears forming in her eyes. Is anyone there? Can anyone hear us? We broadcast in the old tongue, in the language of our mothers and fathers. Our ships fails. Our people sleep the cold sleep. We wake in cycles to call out. Does anyone remember us? Does anyone still know our words? It had marked the signal as processed and moved on to other tasks. To the computer, this was just noise from a dead civilization, historical data to be filed and forgotten. But Maya was human, and humans understood something that many other species had forgotten. Every voice mattered. Every call deserved an answer. No one should die alone in the darkness, unheard and unknown. She opened a new communication channel. Her fingers moved quickly across the keyboard. She pulled up every scrap of Velkari language data in the archive. Grammar rules, vocabulary lists, pronunciation guides. She would need all of it. Maya took a deep breath. She was about to do something that might seem foolish to others. She was going to answer a message from people who supposedly did not exist. She was going to speak a language that had been silent for 80,000 years, and she was going to make sure someone finally listened. Maya worked through the night without stopping. Her tea grew cold and forgotten on the desk. The station's artificial morning arrived, but she barely noticed. Every part of her mind focused on the ancient language displayed across her screens. The Velkari language was beautiful and complex. Each word carried layers of meaning that changed based on tone and context. It reminded Maya of Earth languages like Mandarin or Arabic, where emotion shaped understanding as much as vocabulary. She pulled up recordings from archaeological sites. Scholars had found Velkari poetry carved into temple walls. Scientists had recovered audio files from data archives buried under ancient cities. Maya listened to these fragments again and again, training her ear to recognize the patterns. Other species learned languages through pure logic and memorization. Their translation computers worked perfectly for straightforward communication, but the Velkari had built their language differently. They wove feelings and cultural knowledge into every phrase. A simple greeting could carry respect, affection, or concern, depending on subtle variations. This was where human intuition became valuable. Maya had spent years studying how cultures expressed emotions through words. She understood that language was more than information transfer. It was connection between living beings. She began reconstructing proper Velkari grammar. The distress signal provided some clues, but she needed more. Maya cross-referenced pronunciation guides with historical texts. She studied how Velkari parents had spoken to children in old recordings. She analyzed poetry to understand rhythm and emphasis. Hours passed. Maya's eyes burned from staring at screens. Her back ached from sitting too long, but slowly, piece by piece, she built understanding. The message said more than her first translation revealed. Between the words, Maya heard loneliness. She felt desperation. The Velkari survivors had been calling out for so long without answer. They broadcast in their ancient language as a test, hoping someone would care enough to remember them. Maya started writing a response. She chose her words carefully, checking each one against the historical database. The Velkari language had formal and informal versions. She needed to show respect but also warmth. These people had survived impossible odds. They deserved a reply that honored their courage. Her first attempt sounded too stiff and academic. Maya deleted it and tried again. The second version felt too casual. She was greeting survivors of a civilization everyone thought lost. The moment required dignity. On her fifth attempt, Maya felt satisfied. She had constructed a message in primitive Velkari that said, "We hear you. You are not forgotten. We are coming to help. Please hold on." The Velkari might not even understand her attempt at their language. But then Maya thought about the people at the other end of that signal. They had been alone in the darkness for so long. Even an imperfect response was better than continued silence. She pressed the button. The message launched into space, traveling at faster-than-light speeds toward the void margin. Maya watched the transmission confirmation flash on her screen. Now she could only wait. She made herself fresh tea and ate a nutrition bar from her desk drawer. The station around her came fully to life. She heard footsteps in the corridor outside. Voices discussed morning schedules and planned experiments. Maya wondered if she should tell someone what she had done. Her supervisor would arrive in 2 hours. But what could she say? That she had found survivors from an extinct civilization. That she had responded to them without authorization. It sounded impossible even to her own ears. 20 minutes passed. Then her console beeped with an incoming signal. Maya's heart jumped. She activated the receiver with shaking fingers. The same frequency that had carried the distress call now carried something new. The translation program analyzed the incoming message. Maya read the words as they appeared on her screen. Her eyes filled with tears. "Someone understands us. After all this time, we thought. We believed we were the last, that our language died with our world. Who are you? What species remembers the Velkari?" They had understood her message. Her pronunciation had been good enough. The connection was real. She quickly composed another response. This time her fingers moved with more confidence. "I am Maya Chen. I am human. My people study and preserve ancient languages. We believe every voice deserves to be remembered. Tell me what you need. Help is coming. You arrived in the galaxy recently. You catalog forgotten songs and save dying words. Our elders said if anyone would answer, it would be humans. We are on a colony ship called the Eternal Hope. Our stasis systems are failing. We have 3,000 souls aboard. We have been drifting for so long. Please, we do not want to fade away unheard." They had kept their language alive through unimaginable hardship. She would not let them down now. She needed to report this immediately. Her supervisor would be shocked. The station director would demand verification. But Maya had all the proof she needed. The signal was real. The Velkari were real, and they needed help. She sent one more message before going to wake her colleagues. "Stay strong, Eternal Hope. Your language has been silent for 80,000 years, but it speaks again today. And humans are listening. We will not let you fade. I promise." She needed to reach Director Voss before the morning briefing ended. The Velkari could not wait for bureaucratic schedules. She found the director in his office reviewing daily reports. Voss was a Kenthari, a species known for logical thinking and careful decision-making. His blue-gray skin and 4 steady eyes gave him a calm appearance even in stressful situations. "Director Voss, I need to speak with you immediately," Maya said, slightly out of breath. Voss looked up from his data pad. "Dr. Chen, you look exhausted. Have you been working all night again?" Their civilization ended 80,000 years ago. Perhaps you intercepted an old automated message. Their stasis systems are failing. There are 3,000 people who need rescue. Even if your claim is accurate, mounting a rescue operation there would be very risky. We cannot abandon them now. That process takes months. By your own account, these survivors do not have months. The archive station is not equipped for rescue operations. We would need to request assistance from the Galactic Emergency Response Fleet. They would conduct their own investigation first. More delays. Those people will be dead by then. The council will question whether rescue efforts are justified for such a small population. I will file your report with the appropriate authorities. They will evaluate the situation and make an informed decision. But the Velkari had no time for paperwork and committee meetings. She left the director's office without another word. Her mind raced with possibilities. If the official channels would not help, she needed to find another way. Maya returned to her quarters and activated her personal communication network. She had colleagues across the galaxy, other human linguists and cultural preservationists. If anyone would understand the importance of this situation, they would. She composed a message to the Human Linguistic Preservation Society. The organization was small but passionate. Its members dedicated themselves to saving endangered languages and protecting cultural heritage. Maya had joined as a graduate student and maintained strong connections with the group. Her message explained everything: the discovery of the Velkari signal, the successful communication, the urgent need for rescue. She attached all her evidence and translations. Within an hour, responses began arriving. Dr. James Wright from Earth expressed immediate concern. Professor Amara Akafer from the Mars colony offered research support. Captain Lisa Torres, who commanded a small human transport vessel, volunteered her ship for the mission. The messages multiplied. More humans joined the discussion, offering resources, expertise, and encouragement. They understood what the galactic community did not. When a voice called out from the darkness, someone had to answer. By afternoon, the Human Linguistic Preservation Society had organized a complete rescue plan. Captain Torres would provide transportation. A medical team from the Europa Health Institute volunteered to treat the Velkari after so long in stasis. Engineers from the Titan shipyards offered to help repair the Eternal Hope. The society even secured funding. Wealthy human donors who valued cultural preservation contributed money for the expedition. They asked for nothing in return except the knowledge that they had helped save something precious. Maya received a final message from Dr. Wright, the society's chairman. Maya, you were right to contact us. This is exactly why humans became linguists and historians. We remember what others forget. We hear voices that machines categorize as noise. The expedition launches in 48 hours. We need you aboard as our primary translator. She carefully constructed her message in Velkari, explaining that help was coming soon, that humans had rallied to support them, that they would not be forgotten. The response from Keeper Thelmos, the Velkari leader, made Maya cry. We knew humans would answer. Your species catalogs forgotten songs. You understand what it means to lose a language, to watch your words fade from memory. We have been listening to galactic broadcasts during our cryosleep cycles. We learned modern languages and heard many species communicate. But no one responded to our transmissions in Velkari. We broadcast in our ancestral tongue as a test. We wanted to see if anyone in this galaxy still valued preservation over convenience. Only humans passed that test. Director Voss tried to stop her, warning that she was violating station protocols. But Maya had made her choice. Some rules deserved to be broken. Some voices were worth hearing, no matter the cost. She sent one final message to the Velkari before leaving. We are coming, eternal hope. Hold on just a little longer. Maya spent most of the journey studying Velkari cultural records and practicing pronunciation. She wanted to greet the survivors properly when they arrived. The medical team prepared their equipment. Dr. Sarah Kim reviewed everything known about Velkari biology. The species had been similar to humans in many ways. They breathed oxygen, ate protein-based foods, and required similar temperatures for comfort. But 80,000 years in stasis might have created unexpected health problems. The engineers studied scans of the Eternal Hope's design. The colony ship was ancient but built with impressive technology. Its stasis systems had lasted far longer than their original specifications promised. However, the systems were now failing rapidly. Time was running out. Maya maintained daily communication with Keeper Thelmos. She learned that the Velkari had escaped their dying world in 12 colony ships. Over the millennia, 11 ships had suffered catastrophic failures. The Eternal Hope was the last survivor, carrying the final remnants of an entire civilization. Thelmos described how they managed their situation. They woke in small groups on rotating schedules to maintain the ship and broadcast their messages. Most people remained in stasis to conserve resources. He explained that they had hoped to find a new home world, but their navigation systems had failed thousands of years ago. Since then, they simply drifted and waited. "We never lost hope completely," Thelmos told Maya through their communication link. "Our elders taught each generation to remember our language and culture. They said that even if we died, we should die as Velkari, not as forgotten shadows." The Eternal Hope appeared on their view screens. The colony ship was enormous, larger than any human vessel, but it looked tired. Hull plating showed damage from meteor impacts. Navigation lights flickered weakly. The ship drifted without power, a ghost floating in the cosmic darkness. Captain Torres positioned their vessel carefully beside the ancient ship. "Dr. Chen, we are ready for your signal." She spoke in Velkari, her pronunciation careful and respectful. "Eternal Hope, this is Maya Chen of the Human Expedition. We have arrived. We are here to help you." Relief, joy, disbelief, and gratitude all mixed together. "You came. You actually came. We can see your ship through our observation ports. After so long alone, we are not alone anymore." The engineering team established a power connection between the two ships. The Eternal Hope's failing systems stabilized with the emergency energy supply. The medical team prepared to receive patients. Then came the moment Maya had been waiting for. The airlock doors opened between the vessels. Keeper Thelmos emerged first, supported by two younger Velkari. They looked weak from their long sleep, but their eyes shone with hope. The Velkari were tall and elegant. Their skin had a slight silver tone that caught the light beautifully. They moved with slow grace, adjusting to gravity after so long in stasis. Thelmos wore traditional robes marked with symbols of his position. Maya stepped forward and spoke in Velkari. "Welcome, Keeper Thelmos. We are honored to meet you. Your people's courage inspires us all. I never imagined I would hear our words from another species. You have given us a gift beyond measure." Most were weak but stable. The stasis technology had preserved them well, though they would need time to fully recover. Maya sat with Thelmos in the expedition vessel's common area. She brought him water and a simple meal. As he ate slowly, she showed him something special on her data pad. "Keeper, I want you to see this. Human archaeologists have been studying Velkari ruins for decades. We preserved what we found." She showed him images of temple art carefully cataloged and protected. She displayed literature that human scholars had translated and saved. Thelmos watched with growing amazement. "You saved all of this, but why? We were nothing to you. Just another extinct species among thousands. On Earth, we have watched hundreds of our own languages disappear. We know the pain of forgetting. So when we find the words of others, we hold them carefully." When he finally looked up, his expression showed profound gratitude. "We are the last speakers of our mother tongue. We feared that when we died, everything we were would vanish completely. But thanks to humans, our culture survived. Even if we had not, you would have remembered us." One elderly Velkari woman touched the data pad screen with trembling fingers. "My grandmother taught me this poem when I was a child. I thought I was the last person in the universe who knew it, but you have it here. You kept it safe." "We kept everything safe. and now you can teach it to new generations. Your language will not be silent again. Your computers told you our signal was just noise, but humans listen with more than technology. You listen with your hearts. Captain Tors had transported all 3,000 Velkari to a human settlement on the colony world of New Harmony. The planet had extra space and resources. More importantly, the human colonists welcomed the ancient survivors with open arms and genuine warmth. The Velkari recovery went better than anyone expected. Dr. Kim's medical team helped them regain their strength. The survivors adapted to modern life slowly but steadily. They marveled at technologies that had not existed when their world died. Yet they also shared their own advanced knowledge, teaching humans techniques that had been lost for millennia. Maya stayed with the Velkari community, helping them bridge the gap between their ancient culture and the modern galaxy. She watched as Keeper Thelmos met with Galactic Council representatives. News of the rescue had spread across every civilized world. The story captured everyone's imagination. An entire civilization, thought extinct for 80,000 years, had returned to life. And they had been saved by humans who refused to ignore a forgotten language. The galactic community's response amazed Maya. Species from hundreds of worlds sent messages of support. They offered resources, technology, and friendship. Many felt ashamed that their automated systems had dismissed the Velkari signal as meaningless noise. The incident sparked conversations about how advanced societies sometimes lost touch with compassion. But the most significant change happened quietly, in small classrooms and research centers across human space. Maya helped establish the Velkari Cultural Restoration Project. Human linguists worked alongside Velkari elders to document everything about their language and traditions. They recorded oral histories, collected traditional songs, and preserved ancient crafts. The Velkari language itself became a phenomenon. Universities across human colonies added it to their curriculum. Students studied it alongside reconstructed Earth languages like Sumerian, Sanskrit, and Ancient Egyptian. Young humans found beauty in the complex emotional patterns that made Velkari unique. One afternoon, Maya visited a primary school on New Harmony. She watched human and Velkari children learning together. A human girl named Emma practiced pronunciation with a young Velkari boy named Seftel. They laughed together when Emma struggled with a particularly difficult word. Seftel showed her the proper tongue position patiently. The teacher, a Velkari elder named Murasol, smiled at Maya. "These children give me hope. They learn our language not because they must, but because they want to. They see value in preserving something old and precious." We believe that nothing truly beautiful should ever be completely forgotten. The buildings featured the flowing curves and artistic details that had characterized their ancient cities, but they also included advanced environmental systems and communication networks. Keeper Thelmos invited Maya to the dedication ceremony for their first community center. Thousands gathered for the event. Humans, Velkari, and representatives from other galactic species came together to celebrate. Thelmos stood before the crowd and spoke in Velkari. Maya translated his words for those who did not understand the ancient language yet. Today we dedicate this building not just to our future, but to our past. For 80,000 years, we drifted through darkness. We held on to our language because it connected us to our lost home world. It reminded us of who we were and what we valued. Many times, we wondered if anyone would ever hear us, if anyone would care that we existed. She understood that our language carried more than words. It carried the hopes and dreams of an entire people. The keeper reached into his robes and removed a beautiful medallion. It bore symbols in ancient Velkari script. "Maya Chen, we give you a name in our language. From this day forward, you are known as Sevhara. It means she who listens to silence." You heard voices that others could not hear. You saw value where others saw only empty space. She spoke in careful Velkari, wanting everyone to understand her feelings. I accept this name with deep humility, but I did not save you alone. Humans everywhere contributed to this rescue. We did it because we understand loss. We know what it means to watch languages disappear. We have experienced the pain of forgetting our own history. Every culture carries wisdom worth preserving. The Velkari survived because they refused to forget who they were. They kept their language alive even when survival seemed impossible. That courage deserves respect and celebration. Thelmos stopped beside a fountain decorated with traditional Velkari patterns. Sevhara, may I ask you something? Because no one should die alone, unheard and forgotten. Because every ending deserves at least one person who refuses to accept it. Because humans believe that hope matters more than logic sometimes. You remember what others forget. The galaxy is better because humans are part of it. The ancient language that had been silent for 80,000 years now echoed through streets and homes again. She thought about all the extinct civilizations scattered across the galaxy. So many voices lost to time. But today, one voice had returned. And it spoke clearly, proudly, beautifully. The Velkari would not be forgotten. Their language would live on, taught and treasured by generations yet to come. And somewhere in the universe, other lost voices might still be calling out, waiting for someone to listen. Maya smiled and touched the medallion around her neck, she who listens to silence. It was a responsibility she would carry with honor. Because in the end, that was humanity's greatest gift to the galaxy. Not their technology or their courage, though those mattered too. It was their simple, stubborn belief that every voice deserved to be heard. Even voices silent for 80,000 years. Claude is AI and can make mistakes. Please double-check responses.